Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now March 4th of 2020, and ever since the release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of fans have been very worried about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney and Lucasfilm, and exactly how they're going to handle all the Star Wars movies, the TV shows, the books, novels, and comics, etc. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that we do know about Star Wars is that Disney and Lucasfilm are trying to find routes in order to regain the lost fans due to the sequel trilogy movies. Of course, a lot of fans were very upset about both The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens. That is a big deal because when you look at the Star Wars sequel trilogy, it's got a lot of inconsistency issues. Basically, what we see in these movies is, of course, Kathleen Kennedy's input and her interrupting a lot of the creative choices and decisions from many of those Star Wars films, etc. So, one thing is for certain is that Star Wars The Last Jedi by writer and director Rian Johnson was a very controversial movie because of what Rian Johnson did to the character of Luke Skywalker and exactly how he introduced some of the story elements in a Star Wars film and how it really did not fit well with a lot of fans around the world, right? A lot of people had issues with the movie structure and exactly how it paced itself and how the actual movie ended off and stuff around those lines. So, with that being said, what's really intriguing about the future of Star Wars is that now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are focused on the future of Star Wars after Episode 9, such as their new Star Wars universe and their new Star Wars trilogy of films, they are also looking for ways to reunite the fans around the world. Waits explained that Disney and Lucasfilm have a big plan to make a major retcon to The Last Jedi, which was written and directed by Rian Johnson back in 2017, and that Lucasfilm wants to create a different version of the film through their new Star Wars universe, as well as other formats. Now, it's explained that one of the big plans by Disney is to incorporate many of the deleted scenes from The Last Jedi into the actual movie to create a different cut of the film. Now, the film will be planned to be a longer movie with new scenes of Luke, Kylo Ren, Snoke, and Rey added into the mix, and that they also want to rearrange some of the scenes a bit for the new version that is planned to be introduced on Disney Plus sometime in 2021 next year. Not just that, but also Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and of course George Lucas are said to eventually work together on developing a major retcon of Luke Skywalker's death and exactly how it will be structured different in the new Star Wars universe for fans and how it will create a different perspective for the film for the Star Wars community, where this plan by Disney is to develop a better version of The Last Jedi, and they also want to create a version of Luke in their new expanded universe that will be more positive and hopeful like how he was in Star Wars Legends and more. So, the thing that really intrigues me is that I feel like there's a lot of fans that are going to have a lot of different opinions about this. Now, the fact that Disney has a plan in order to introduce a lot of the deleted scenes of The Last Jedi and throwing it into the actual movie to not only make the movie longer, but to really rearrange some of the scenes to give us a different take of The Last Jedi, to give us a more hopeful version of Luke. We do know that The Last Jedi had a lot of deleted scenes, not quite as much as The Rise of Skywalker's, which really was a lot because that movie was originally 4 hours and 20-something minutes long in length. Meanwhile, The Last Jedi's originally, Rian Johnson even said this before in the past, is that it was around 3 hours and 20 minutes, so that's still a handful of deleted scenes that Disney and Lucasfilm can really work with in order to introduce to us a different version of The Last Jedi on Disney Plus. It's not just about that, though. It's also about this new Star Wars universe that's going to introduce Luke Skywalker in a different way during the events of The Last Jedi in the forms of books, novels, comics, and more. That's going to give us a more hopeful and a bit, less of a bitter version of Luke in the, of course, The Last Jedi story itself that Disney wants to retell. Now, the thing about this is that I feel that this different cut of The Last Jedi, of how it's going to be exclusive to Disney Plus, and how they plan for this to be released sometime next year, I feel that that's a little unfair for those who do not have Disney Plus, and those who do not want to pay for a subscription for maybe that and that alone. It just doesn't make much sense, right? So, what I feel that should be done is that they should really give us a Blu-ray, a different Blu-ray version of The Last Jedi, as opposed to only having it on Disney Plus with the deleted scenes added into the mix. And as far as the new Star Wars universe goes, if you're a hardcore Star Wars fan, This really is good news, and it may very well bring Star Wars in a better direction as far as the sequel trilogy goes. The fact that they're trying to retcon The Last Jedi to the maximum here, with their books, their novels, their comics, and how they also want to introduce a brand new cut of the film with added deleted scenes next year, it tells us that Disney is desperate. I think that there's no other way of putting it out there like that, other than the fact that they are desperate. You know, this seems like Disney is really trying to do a lot of damage control. They're really trying to fix their ways. So with that being said, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.